Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Josh with MitsuTimes. Today our guest is Jared Early, the owner and driver of the number 2 Starquest on our Starquest list. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good today.
Good. Man, I'm a big fan. I've been following you, I think, since version 1. Are you on version 2 now or 3?
We're on version 3 at this point.
Version 3. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your Starquest as it sits now? Like, what's the setup on it?
Started out as an 89 Conquest. The setup on it right now, it's got a billet block, FP 84.9 turbo, Calford cams, all custom intercore piping, exhaust, JM Fab intake manifold. It's got 8 2150s. Still on the ethanol, we're running Renegade E85 on it. Running a Fuel Tech 600 ECU, Liberty transmission 5-speed with a Ford Diamond for own number. The car's house of color, tangerine, candy orange. Still ironing some bugs out of it. As you know, we had that crash last year at the end of the year.
Right.
And yeah, it's really been a battle to put it back together. We first didn't think we were going to be able to put it back together as bad as it was.
Well, I'm glad you did for sure. You know, somehow it keeps getting better looking and hopefully it keeps getting faster.
That's always the goal.
It seems orange is the lucky color in the Starquest world. Both the top 2 are orange.
Felix is number 1, right?
Right.
Yeah.
7352.
Yeah, that's the number we're chasing at this point.
Well, hopefully number 3 has it in it.
I think so. We went out this past weekend, the Dragway 42, beautiful facility, and raced all weekend. Went an 8-1, 174, just dialing the car back in, getting it to go straight again, and it's working. On very low boost numbers, it's working extremely well.
Awesome.
So we're excited.
Can't wait to turn it up. Why choose the Starquest platform? What got you into it?
There's 2 reasons why I got into this car. When I was about 13, I was walking around a junkyard, and I saw a Starry on in there, and I thought, man, what a wild car. And I actually walked over and peeled the badge off the back of the car, put it in my pocket, and went home, put it in the toolbox. A couple years later, we were racing at Keystone Raceway, and Kurt Brown was actually the guy I always was chasing. I could never beat him. I had my all-wheel drive car at that time. And I kept telling myself, there's no way I'm going to beat this guy if I race him with the same car, same platform. So I went back to the starter idea. I was going to build a rear-wheel drive with an automatic in it and stop breaking 5-speed transits. So found a Conquest and started the build. It was about a year on the original build. And that's the reason the car has a Starry on badge on it. That's the original Starry on badge that I got from the junkyard on that first car.
Nice.
Little nostalgia back out on the new car.
That's awesome. That's a great story that, you set yourself a goal and attained it.
I never beat Kurt. Kurt was always the unbeatable. By the time the Conquest was out and actually functioned correctly, he was on to autocrossing. So
that man, he was the 4G63 whisperer. Yeah,
he was. Any question I had, we were good friends and went back and forth with stuff. He would help you with whatever you needed. But it was fun in those first early years. We were junk for parts, but everybody was having fun.
He was the one that would always say that he could drive his car across the country too.
Yeah, he did. I always said I gave him credit. He would drive from his house, go out and race at the shootout, change the tires back and forth, and then drive home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he would do it like it was nothing.
Right.
So what was the car like when you bought it? Just a bone stock car?
Yeah. It was a stock car. I'd actually bought it sight unseen off of eBay.
Oh wow.
It was listed as mint condition with a blown up engine, and it was far from mint condition when we went to pick it up. Super disappointed. It was definitely one of those internet nightmares you hear about.
Yeah.
It took me, I bought 3 cars to build one. It was one of those deals. I'm sure everybody's done that at least at one point or another.
Gotta love the sight unseen internet auctions.
Yeah, it definitely was the nightmare story.
When you bought this car and you finally got it together, did you already know that you was going to put a 4G in it?
Yeah, that was the plan. I had the all-wheel drive car, and we had full intention of pulling the engine out of that car and building the auto rear-wheel drive setup out of it right from the get-go. There was no intention of ever keeping the factory engine in it.
So what different setups have you had in it? You had the auto first, and then you switched to the Liberty 5-speed?
There's been a couple different. We played around. We had a turbo 350 automatic transit at first, and had no luck with that whatsoever. Then went to a Power Glide. I think about 10 years I raced it on the Power Glide. Messed with a few turbo 400 automatics, and went back to the Power Glide, and then ultimately ended up putting this Liberty setup in it. It's a lot more work, but it's definitely the faster route. It's the way to chase the numbers, I think, at this point.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that, pretty much all of the 4G powered Pro Mod cars, pretty much all the rear-wheel drive cars are using those Liberty Trans. There's only a few exceptions.
Yeah, it's definitely the better way to go. Once you figure it out and make it work right, it's by far the fastest way.
So you have to get a custom bell housing to attach to Liberty Trans, or they make one for the 4G?
I'm using the Chevy bell housing with the Bill Hincher adapter setup. It's actually a combination of his adapter and then I designed a flywheel that adapts over the crank to get us onto a Ram triple disc.
Wow, that's cool. How involved is the 4G63 swap in Starquest?
This version that we're using is just motor plated, so it's a little different than the average guy would build it. Bill Hincher does make a setup that you can bolt right into the car and use some factory style mounts and make it more of a street car version than what this motor plate version is.
Okay. So why did you choose to go with the 4G63 versus the G54B or 4G54 that came in it? Because, you see Felix ran the original engine and, those, what was that one, El Sakura back in the day that had that rear-wheel drive Pro Mod with the 4G54B?
Mainly because we already had that other car. We knew the platform from the all-wheel drive car. We felt that we could go faster with this setup for, at the end of the day, cost.
Yeah.
We knew this already and what we already had. And no matter what, there's always a budget on something.
Right. This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by Kirkpatrick Auto and Fleet Repair. Kirkpatrick Auto and Fleet Repair is a local, full-featured auto shop in Chilliwack, British Columbia, with years of experience and comprehensive ability. Instead of searching for a different provider every time your vehicle has a problem, their team of technicians is at the ready to deal with everything from electrical problems to diagnostic issues. They believe in providing the best possible customer service and transparent pricing for all the work they do. When you choose them, you'll know that you're in good hands and that when you drive your vehicle away from their shop, it will have an excellent repair or maintenance service. That's the Kirkpatrick Auto and Fleet Repair way. Find out more about their products and services at kirkpatrick.ca. If you could start over, would you still do everything the same on this build?
Version 3 kind of was that. After the crash, we got to fix all the things we wanted to change.
Yeah.
From version 2, we got to go back through and build it the way we wanted to from 10 or 15 years ago. As your skill level gets better through the years, you do things a little bit better, a little bit nicer, make things work better and easier to work on. Contrary to popular belief, you do have to work on them all the time. Some people think this is easy and you just bolt them together once and race it all year, and that is definitely not the case.
Doesn't work like Legos.
Yeah.
So why keep pushing this car? Like you said, after the crash, you weren't sure if you're going to be able to get it back together. So what motivated you to get the 3.0 and to keep pushing it?
It was never really a thought to quit at that point. A lot of people ask me that, and I kind of looked at it with a stupid look on my face, like, what do you mean quit? There's no such thing, that's not in the nature of any racer, I don't think, to hang it up. You just build it better. I knew what mistake we made, what caused the accident. There was definitely a lax on safety in my part. If you have a question mark around a parachute, replace it. Don't ever think it's okay and put it back in the bag. That was what ultimately caused the accident. So yeah, it was just an opportunity to build the car better at that point and fix some stupid mistakes on it.
So what are your goals for 2022 with the new 3.0?
I think we're going to start chasing the number more, actually. That's kind of where we're at right now. For a few years, we got into just let's be consistent and win some races with what we can do with it as far as that. And we did really well. I mean, we joked and said it was a 780 bracket car there for a while. And that was fun. Honestly, that was a lot of fun. Not breaking it constantly. I think the motor before the last motor, it had 65 passes on it, and I never opened it. I just changed the oil on it.
Wow.
That was a fun year and a half doing that. But I kind of want to go back towards seeing if we can chase Felix's number. I think we have the combination on the car now to do that.
Just got to dial it in.
Yeah, dial it in and turn some power up. This past weekend was really promising. It was the straightest the car's gone in a long time, so I have high hopes.
So you don't really, care about power numbers, but what about, do you have any long-term quarter-mile goals, like maybe a 699?
Yeah. After we went sevens a couple years ago, that automatically, the racer in all of us, it pops in the back of your head. You think of the next milestone that you can get to.
Yeah.
And that would be cool to join that club, the 6 second club.
Definitely. And to be the first Starquest there, I mean, what an achievement that is.
Yeah, it would be. It would definitely be a nice opportunity to make happen.
So we talked about your all-wheel drive car before. You want to talk about talk about that car some more, or any other Mitsubishis that you've had before all these Starquests?
I bet you I've had 25 different DSMs through the years. That was one of the things in the beginning. I would buy crashed ones, broken ones, fix them, either sell them or I started parting them out to help fund this build as we were doing it. That was a fun way to learn about the cars and a good way to make some money on the side of doing that. But really, I have a love for all these cars. We love Supras, even the LS stuff now. We've been playing with a little bit of that. We've got a Camaro we started doing some no prep racing with. Just getting into different markets and different power builds.
Awesome. Just kind of seeing what's out there, playing around.
Yeah. You dabble in a little bit of everything, see what other cars can do. And I mean, it always comes back to the 4Gs. These cars are just awesome. You can't beat them for the money that it costs to build one versus how fast you can go with one.
Right.
It's definitely hard to beat.
That's what I try to tell people in other platforms. Ask why I like Mitsubishi so much. It's just a cost to fun ratio.
Right. Up until recently, you could buy a decent shell with a couple $1,000s and go mid-11s to 10-second pass, and it just really was a hilarious bang for the buck. You take a car like that to the racetrack and go mid-10s for $5,000. These guys are thinking you're crazy.
Right. So if someone out there, they own a Starquest or they just bought a Starquest and they want to go fast in theirs, what advice would you give them from all the experience that you've gained overall?
Well, I tell actually all my customers that come into the shop, I always tell them, have a budget in mind. Don't get overextended before you get going with the car. You want to put something together that you can actually play with in a reasonable amount of time, because you'll get burned out. It's a war of attrition building one of these things, and if you wear yourself out or you wear your budget out too fast, you'll never have any fun and you'll end up abandoning the project before you even get started. And just pick a budget and a speed in mind and then go after it, and know that it's going to be a battle to get there sometimes, but it's worth it. You'll meet good people along the way that'll help you and lead you the right direction. And it's fun. As long as you're having fun, keep doing it.
There you go. If you have fun, keep doing it. That's good words to live by. So, Jared, what events do you plan to attend in 2022 that we could go out and see 3.0 in action?
The next race we'll probably be at will be the Hebron IFO, and then definitely be at the shootout. The DSM shootout I've been there since 2002 and never missed one except the COVID strike one that we didn't have. And I'd like to make it the World Cup this year. That's been a goal the last 2 years, but the class that we fit into need to put some faster numbers together.
That'd be awesome to see. Definitely some more Mitsubishi representation at the World Cup.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Jared. So, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to for helping you get where you are, help putting the car together, help staying up late and doing some wrenching?
I mean, the problem with that is I could go on for probably an hour of all the people that have helped through the years. Our main, obviously, the sponsors that help us. Kigley Racing, those two are awesome. Fuel Injector Development, Force Performance, Robert's always helped us out. Frontline Fab, Andrew Kisner, he's taking care of me. His billet oil pump and billet valve cover, all his parts are top notch. Pat Norcia from Ram Clutches. I'm sure he got tired of talking to me about slipper clutches, but he was very patient working with a slow 4-cylinder versus I'm sure the pro mods he's working with normally.
Right.
Guys over at Fuel Tech, they were awesome for us. I can't say enough about Fuel Techs. We push them on all our cars. And we just actually switched over to an E-gate setup on the car, and I can't say enough good things about it so far. Just a lot of good people that helped over the years and have pushed the car to what it is now.
That's awesome, man. Well, Jared, I appreciate you coming on, and I can't wait to see you at the top of that list, and I'll see you at the shootout.
I appreciate it, man. We're going to keep pushing forward and try and get to that number one spot.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
You too. Talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.